Good evening, happy 12/12. It's Thursday, December 12th, 2024. 12/12/2024. Today it was more important than ever to really watch your vibration, watch your feelings. Today, your feelings were extremely powerful. More than your thoughts even. Feelings. A lot of people felt too emotional today. I get the feeling that people were twice as emotional as they were rational today. A very emotion-heavy day. As soon as midnight hit, something shifted. I could feel it. It was something big. A lot of us have been under a lot of pressure, and it's really easy to feel like you've been abandoned when you've dealt with something so difficult that it was hard to really even put into words what you're going through. And you feel like, if any of you have been feeling like you just want to scream but no sound comes out, there's a reason for that. Thank you for risking your own comfort to help me and my family. I saw the number 34 twice. I've been seeing 34 and 43 a lot. That number is a number of optimism. And I can hear the frequency. It's like there's a very high frequency buzzing in the air. That's one of the beautiful things about doing this outside. You can really feel the environment. You can hear the messages in the environment. Spirit is saying congratulations on staying optimistic. A lot of you if you've been suffering for a really long time and it felt like the situation wasn't going to break, God's congratulating you for your persistence. And not giving up on him while he worked things out on his timeline. There's some details to the situation that you didn't know about that he worked out. He worked it out. God worked out a detail that you weren't aware of, and that's the reason why sometimes you were feeling a bit impatient. If you've been feeling like your finances have been blocked, they're going to start flowing now. I'm seeing like a table with like a bunch of like I'm seeing like an obstacle course. Like a lot of things put in your way to try to distract you. I see a lot of distraction energy. Like your table gives you a nice flat surface to be able to work. I'm seeing like a lot of little knickknacks on a table. For some reason, I'm seeing a knight on a knight that would be on a chessboard. Something about a knight on a chessboard. Now, if you know anything about chess, the knight can only move like a certain path. They're really restricted in the way that they can move. But you really can move. You're not as restricted as you thought you were. It's just that the energy that has been placed on you from outside wanted you to believe that you didn't have as much freedom. But you do have freedom to move. You always did have freedom to move. They don't have as much freedom to move, and they try to project their restrictions onto you. So God said, congratulations, your optimism paid off. I cleared that out of the way, and now you've got a nice flat surface with lots of room to grow. A lot of the distractions that you had in your mind, any things that were put into your energy space to complicate your mind, now you can think more clearly. If you had creative blocks, all of a sudden you're going to be able to create easier. I'm hearing something about if you've been stuck on something, like stuck on one idea. God's saying now you can see that there are lots of other ways that it could be done. You don't have to fall back on that one idea, that one way of doing things, because now that all these distractions have been moved off the table, you can approach it from so many different directions. He's telling me to tell you to think back to November 1st, All Saints Day. The song When the Saints Go Marching In is coming in right now. In the video that I released yesterday, God said that in the new high frequency world, in a high frequency world, art is currency. A lot of you, your purpose is going to be to create art. Your art. It's about the art that you bring into the world. And he's showing me like a very specific number. He's saying 94.5%. 94.5% of people just kind of go through the motions with their art. And he says, I need you to be different. I need you to be that 5.5%. Because the uniqueness of your work is what's going to set you apart. It's going to make you stand out. So I'm hearing the song about the 12 days of Christmas. Okay, today's 12/12, the 12 days of Christmas. So there's 12 days from the 13th to the 25th. That's 12 days. Spirit is telling me that from the 13th to the 25th, those 12 days leading up to Christmas, find something to be grateful for every day. Grab a piece of paper and just write down at least 12 things that you're grateful for. And focus on that. Focus on one of those things every day leading up to Christmas. Just find something that you're grateful for. Gratitude raises your frequency through the roof. Your gratitude is what's going to set you apart. He says something about famous Amos. Famous Amos 9. Famous Amos 9. What God's trying to tell me is that what you're experiencing right now is Him restoring everything that you lost. He's restoring you back to peace. He's removing all of your energetic blocks that's coming from the interference on the outside. People that feel threatened by your art, because He says that you are meant to stand out. It's your art that makes you stand out. It's the way you do your art. It's the way you do things that make you stand out from the crowd, because He said that I need you to be different. I need you to be the 5.5%. The feeling that I'm getting from 5.5% is that He says that your art needs to shake people up. I'm getting about shaking. Don't be afraid to shake things up. It's okay to shake things up. That's what He created you for. Your art is supposed to shake things up. Don't worry about how they feel about your art. Yeah, they're uncomfortable with it. They're all up in their feelings about it. And tomorrow, I'm seeing something about a triangle. But today is Thursday, and I'm getting an energy of thunder. We get that shaking energy again. So I'm getting today. There's an energy of a shakeup in governance. God says, "Don't be fooled by what you see. Don't be fooled by what you see right now." I'm seeing a picture of baking bread. God says, "I was just making the dough. Now I got to bake it." It takes longer to make the dough than it takes to actually bake the bread. The baking process doesn't take near as long as it takes to actually make the dough and raise the dough. So this baking that he's talking about, the way things look right now in politics and government, he says, don't be fooled by the way things look right now. There's something that God has planned, and the reason why you can't see it right now is because the bread, it's not really bread, it's just dough until it's baked. It won't have the texture, it won't have the color, it won't have the flavor. It's just a dough ball. There's a transformation that's going to take place once it's baked. So up until this point, things have been cool. You notice things cooled down a bit. Well, now he's saying, now that the dough is made and I've got it shaped the way I want it and I've got it raised, it's raised the way I want it, now it's time to bake it. So now God's going to heat things up. You're going to notice that things are going to start getting really hot. Things are going to start moving really fast. There's going to be an acceleration that's going to take place between the 13th and the 31st of December. I'm getting 13 and 31. So, because there are energies left over at the end of 2024 that can't carry over into 2025. It's a complete paradigm shift. In order to eliminate the rest of this energy of 2024, God says, I have to bake it. So there have been some events that have happened in the United States and the whole world, in France, in the United States, in Syria, in Israel, all over. There have been events that have been happening. There have been shakeups in government, and people don't really know exactly what they're looking at right now. God says, don't be fooled by what you see. I only just made the dough. And so now I have to bake it. And once it's baked, it's not going to look anything like the way it looks now. It's not going to smell the same. It's not going to taste the same. It's not going to feel the same. And it's going to happen quickly because the baking process doesn't take near as long as the dough making process and the shaping process. It's really interesting and it's nerve-wracking to go through it from our end. What Holy Spirit told me is that this awakening, one of the biggest takeaways from this awakening has to do with governance. The government and the government subjects are going to realize that the superior authorities are in their relative positions placed there by God. But ultimately, God is in control. It's impossible for us to understand exactly what he's doing because we haven't been in this frequency. It's a new, higher frequency. But once he's done heating everything up and it's all baked and it's said and done, it's going to smell good, it's going to taste good, it's going to feel completely different. It's all going to work out for the highest good. It's like unwrapping a Christmas present.